accused of being a romance scammer, and all the while he's talking to me, telling me that you and him are not in a relationship.
Is Jay the one that would go into Oni's life that was a police officer or worked?
Yes, he's worked law enforcement and now is emergency services.
Yeah. I don't like to share I could share what he has said about Jay, but I'm not going to do that publicly.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, that's not nice.
Lots of stuff about
Jay,
people. Lots of
Jay's
stuff.
a good guy. And you know, one of my first instincts, I'm just going to be honest right now, about it because I don't care what anybody one of my first instincts was that he felt like an information gatherer. Even
Yes.
when I first started talking to him, or first started going in his lives, it was almost like he would ask about different people in the different circles of people that I was involved with. Like he wanted to know about them, and he wanted to know, the dirt. And he would say things like accusing people of certain things and saying they were drunk or something like that, which is, the pot calling the kettle black. But just things like that. And I'm going to say 90% of the time, I try not to be someone that says negative things about people. I mean, I'm human. I've done it, you know. Um, but it was almost like he was digging for information, which made me question his motives as things progressed a little bit. And with him, blocking me and stuff on a couple different occasions, thinking, was he just using me for information and I didn't give him what he wanted, and so then I was of no use? It made me seriously question because he didn't come off as that personality type to begin with.
Hmm.
And so it made it very difficult for me to decipher what was even going on. And I think I needed to know beyond a shadow of a doubt, which I'm glad it only took, a couple months to figure it out.
Goodness. Instead
As
of
it
a
was,
year. Yeah.
yeah. But for the most part, I tried to stay emotionally detached.
Hmm. Well, when I first started talking to him, he had asked me if we could talk off app, if I could call him, and I finally agreed to do that. I explained to him, due to the nature of what I do on here, that I was going to be very, very careful. He understood that.
Hmm.
And then we just continued to talk and, our friendship progressed.
Yeah. And I look back at when he was asking me for my phone number. I asked him if he said his whole excuse for even wanting my phone number was because he had a video that he made it, and he didn't know if he should post it or not. So he wanted my opinion on it. And I was like, well, he's like, how can I send this video to you? I can't send it to you on TikTok. And that was before we were able to send pictures and videos on TikTok. And so I was like, well, do you have WhatsApp or Snapchat? And he's like, no, I guess I can download WhatsApp. And then it was like, well, I guess you don't want to give me your real number. And so then, against my better judgment, I was like, it was the whole, I don't know, feeling like I was hurting his feelings by not giving him my real number. And I'm like, okay, and so that was how, things progressed from being in the DMs on TikTok to him having my phone number. And then once he had my phone number, he had access to a lot of information, simply because, I mean, it wasn't very long that he found out that I had that Chime account
He,
that
ac-
was tied to my phone number.
yeah, he accused me of seeking out your phone number because of my profession.
Yeah, see, and my phone number is not even associated with my name. So, how he to give my phone number out, you know, after promising, oh no, I would never do that. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah, so he lied to her, made it seem as though I'm the one who seeked her out, went to get her phone number when her phone isn't even in her name. and I wouldn't have done that anyway. But
Yeah, where he had given me screenshots of your address. There was a phone number on one thing that he had sent, that information that he gave me to look up on the internet, things like that. And all of that information was deleted off of my phone well over, a month before you and I even started talking. Because I didn't want that personal information. I mean, I know that just by looking at his address on PayPal 2 times, it's burned into my brain. But I do that when I feel like I have to protect myself. And he was making it seem like you were a threat, and I didn't want to memorize that information about you. But the rest of the stuff, like the cash apps and things like that, he sent me. I still have screenshots of those, and those are the same things that were shared in the live about you that KK held. So those came from him, you know.
mhm. Yep.
Welcome, Spence P. So that was when I started getting suspicious when he sent me the screenshot of you saying, you tell her to pay you back, and this and that and the other. I thought, wait a minute, he didn't send me the full page of what was sent. He tried to make it seem like, you know, that
Mhm.
was all one-sided. And I'm like, there was only one way that you could know that he sent me, the $10 and the $20. There was only one way that you could know that, and that was if he told you,
That's right.
you know.
And when I
And
questioned him, because something seemed off to me, and I questioned him regarding the text message of yours and his that he sent to me, and that's when you needed to travel several hours away
hmm
to get your daughter. Um, and there was a text message just above that, but he didn't show that to me. And in your
right,
text message, you mentioned to him that you still had the $10 that he had sent you from before. So I asked him, I'm like, what was the $10 for? Did you send her $10 for, did she ask for something? And he's like, well, I can't remember. You know that I just have a hard time remembering stuff. That was always his excuse.
right. Yeah, I've heard that one a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, when he's questioned about something, he suddenly can't remember anything.
Yeah. And he had convinced me that he had wanted to send me a gift on while I was in boxes or while I was moderating his live, whichever one it was. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, it had to do with wanting to send me a TikTok gift and not wanting TikTok to take over half of it.
Yeah,
And so that's how he talked me into even giving him my PayPal. Because he had tried, and I figured, well, if I never share the information with him, he can't send me any money.
yeah. He can't say that we didn't give him opportunity to come in. He can't say I didn't let him up. He never requested a box. He asked for one. He didn't hit the request button. I told him that we were going to get our story out and then would allow him to come up and he could speak. And he left. So I think he got pissed off when Otto put him in his place.
Yeah, I didn't see a request in the deal.
Mm-mm.
So
Nope. But he's created quite a spectacle. A lot of problems.
but he had me believing that you were going to come after me for being a dry begging scammer. I went into Verena's live one night. I'm like, well, I'm just here to warn you guys, that, apparently someone's coming after me because, and
Hmm.
everybody that knows me knows. I mean, how many of you have ever even heard me ask for gifts in my life? How many of you have ever heard me or had me text you? I've got a lot of people's phone numbers. If Verena was in here, she would vouch for the fact that I've never asked her for money, that I've not come into their lives and asked for money. So, so for him to try to make it seem like that's what I'm about, and I'm not even a part of awareness. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that battle on this app, and there's nothing wrong with that. People that want to do that sort of thing. I had the one battle. He did tell me when the situations arose in the group. He said, you get back online." I said, "I'm not going back online. I'm deleting my accounts." And he said, "No, you get back in there." And, then we had the battles that we had with Verena and Gypsy and all that.
I
And
was surprised to see him go off on Gypsy the way he did. And then he went off on Martin, just the way he was speaking to them. I understood that now that he was, defending someone, but still
right.
just the way he spoke to her. And then they go on Martin's live the way he did, just being a badass. Like that was so uncharacteristic from the Oni that I knew.
hmm No, I commended him for taking up for Sassy because, people didn't need to be coming at her the way that they did. Um, but yeah, I understand. Even I wasn't there for the way that I've heard how he went at Martin. I wasn't there for that. I wasn't there even the morning that he was in there yelling at Martin to shut up, in Timbo's live one time. So, I didn't get to see a lot of that firsthand. So it was one of those things that, like, even if he was asked about it, he was going to justify it, which I don't know what was justifiable between him and Martin. Wasn't any of my business, but it was justifiable if he thought that Sassy was being attacked to say something, you know.
Hmm.
So,
Well, I think we got our story out, and I know that this is something that I will never involve myself in ever again. So I enjoy making friends, and I do try and choose my friends wisely. But I obviously was fooled. So
yeah. I'm sure that after we get off here, we'll probably be thinking of other things, but
well, and we can also, if we feel that we need,
we'll make a post.
hopefully this
And,
just ends it all. There
yeah,
shouldn't be any back and forth, back and forth. We're adults. This was all personal, private relationships. And no one should have to ever go live to talk about a friendship that they had, a personal
no,
friendship. Like, I
but
would never want to do that to my friends. I
no.
respect my friendships.
No, I am 100% an advocate for taking care of everything in the background that you could possibly take care of and not bringing drama to the
Right.
platform. But the fact that he had done what he did in calling you out and accusing you of what he accused you of, which I do want to reiterate one last time. If you were romance scamming him, then why in the world would he be telling me that you were delusional when you talked about the cruise or you talked about going on adventures and things like that? He said that you were completely delusional, that he had never spoken to you about those things, that you guys were not in a relationship and this and that and the other. It just didn't add up. So to watch him do all that, I felt like I needed to at least get my side of the story out as well
Hmm.
in order to show everyone that this was a twisted narrative
Very
that
much so.
he had painted.
Yes.
So,
And completely unnecessary.
yeah, and I wouldn't have just gone live. I don't like even posting about it. I don't like having the posts up that I have on my page and on my backup with the receipts or with his text messages where he was threatening me and things like that. I don't, because that's not what my platform is about. I've got my poetry and it's supposed to be uplifting and encouraging and enlightening. And then I've got my other page that's for my voiceovers and the funny stuff. and it's not anyone that's known me on this platform for 6 years could look at all my stuff and go, she's it's never post about stuff like that. I might occasionally on my backup do a post that is about the DMs of the soulmates in your TikTok inbox, and it's just a joke. It's a funny haha, sugar mommy, sugar daddy claims. You can go to a website to verify whether or not they're legitimate sugar people. You know what I mean? They're jokes. And I've never to have this kind of drama is that I detest it to the point that I wish I had never even spoken to that man.
And the poem that you wrote, I read for him, he had shared with me,
Hmm.
the poem, and claimed that he, was disgusted by it, didn't it made him feel uncomfortable, which was obviously not true because he had you asking you for certain acts multiple times a day, sometimes, right?
There was a couple days that yes, there was more than one conversation that circulated around gratification. So the uh, the very fact that I think after I read one of the poems, he did send me a DM on TikTok, which I've never deleted any of the TikTok messages that said something, and I this is very crude and very vulgar. I almost don't want to say it. That he had, um, in effect, washed several kids down the drain. You know, so I don't know how he could say that he was disgusted by something, and then that would have been the text message that was left on my TikTok DMs. That
He got enjoyment out of it, but he was just sharing a completely different story and painting a
Yeah,
completely different picture.
exactly. As the same way that he was telling me that you were delusional and you guys, you know, were not planning any cruises or any trips or anything like that. He was painting one narrative to you about me, painting one narrative to me about you,
Yeah,
and then trying to pit us against each other. He
yeah,
didn't have to do that. He could have been honest the whole time.
yeah.
Hello, Reckless. Reckless Ryan 89. Welcome and thank you for joining the live.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight and hearing our story. Chrissy, thank you so much. You're a very brave woman. I have thick skin. Um, you have to have thick skin to do awareness on this app. I let very little bother me, but the situation was taking extremely too far, and we needed to share our side. We were put in a position where we needed to share our side. So,
Reckless Ryan, please be careful in California. I wish, God, I wish I was there. I really do. I think I might be able to walk and get some of this Texas arthritis out of my system if I was there for a couple weeks. Thank you so much, kindness. That means a lot. And I'm not playing the victim. I feel like my head is clear and I'm okay. The biggest hurdles I think during the entire ordeal because I was kind of guarded even though I kind of tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I was still kind of guarded, you know. So um I think that was kind of protective, but that doesn't mean that I would never give him the satisfaction of knowing that, that there were times it was very rough. So
well, I think we've been a good support system for one another through this.
yes, very much.
Hmm.
when I hit a low point, you actually stayed up all night till I fell asleep, and I woke up and you were asleep. Didn't even realize we were still on the phone together. So, um, it's helped us to be able to dissect everything and look at it from a whole picture as opposed to just believing what we were being told and having a false narrative presented to us that was very confusing because it wasn't true. So it has been very helpful to be able to look at everything together and go, okay, wait a minute. On this day, this was said and that was done, and this was, and they were like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up.
Yes. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight to everyone. And whose gluteus maximus do I need to kick?
I can't tell you publicly, Reckless. I can't dox his information on public platforms. Yeah.
But thank everyone for joining, hearing us out. I've provided my apologies to the awareness community. Um, and this is a lesson learned for me. I will never put myself in this position again, ever, ever.
Yeah. I think that's the important thing is learning from it.
Hmm. Yep. Thank you guys for your support, your kindness in the live. That's very appreciated. Um, thank you for the likes and the follows. I know that Christy and I both appreciate it. You
Yes,
guys.
we do. I
So,
appreciate everybody so much. Thank you guys for hearing us.
yep. And if anyone has any um, questions that they may not be clear about, you're welcome to message me. I'm sure Christy can speak for herself on that manner. I just really prefer not to continue speaking about a personal, private friendship. But they feel that this needed to come out. It isn't something I would typically do, that's for sure.
Right. I would have rather taken care of it in the background, but like we said, the accusations came in front of what, 300 people, you know.
Mhm.
So it's only right that you get to have your platform public apology to your people, and then at least make some of it more clear as far as those allegations were concerned.
Mhm. Yep. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful night, and see you guys soon.
Okay.
You'll
Good
sleep
night,
tight.
everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.